Oh my goodness, there he is. And there he goes.
This is our jelly lab down in North Holding. These are some of our cold water jellies. Jelly is actually a better term for describing these guys versus a jellyfish, as these guys aren't actually fish, they are invertebrates. So if you're kind of in the jelly field, we typically just say jelly versus jellyfish. Over here we have what are called polyps, and if you see these guys right here, these are some of our Pacific polyps. These baby jellies, they need time to kind of get a little bit bigger before we move them over to one of these larger chrysals. So a chrysal is basically a rounded bottom tank that has laminar flow. This laminar flow allows those jellies to stay suspended in the waters. Any kind of extended contact with surfaces could potentially damage the bell on these guys. Jellies will typically live about a year. So they grow and they'll reach a peak size. And you can see this guy here, he's almost big enough to where we can move him on to a little bit bigger chrysal, not quite ready for display yet. The bell is completely formed. They're developed fully, but they just need to grow a little bit more. And then from there, we move them on to a larger chrysal where we have the full-grown jellies. That's what everybody thinks of when they think of jellies. Big guy with the bell, the long tentacles. These are fuscescens, or Japanese nettles. If you look at these guys right here, you see these dark, kind of purpley, thin spaghetti-like arms. Those are their tentacles, and those house what we call nematocysts, or stinging cells. So if they're swimming out in the ocean and a small fish comes along, they can actually wrap those tentacles around that fish and stun that fish. We see them swimming around. They're obviously able to detect food and detect where they are in the water column, but they don't have a brain. These guys actually have what we call a neural net. So instead of having a central nervous system like we do, where we do all our processing right here in the top of our head, these guys actually have little sub-brains, I guess you could say. Pretty fascinating creatures. These guys are ready to go on display. Right now, they're perfectly acceptable size to be displayed, and they can handle those flows well. I love being able to show people what is out there in the ocean, what could be as long as we take care of our environment.
Look at that! Ginormous one. Enormous!
These guys require a lot of time, a lot of effort, and to be able to raise one to maturity and then display them and have people see them and be wowed by that, it's just a very cool thing. Our fuscescens, or our Pacific nettles. Right now, they're perfectly acceptable size to be displayed. We've grown them out for about 6 months. We don't want to actually put our hands on them. That could potentially damage their bell. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some buckets, and we're going to use those buckets to scoop them up and move them into this water-filled vessel. All right, you want to take this chrysal, I'll take this one. All right. These guys are mostly comprised of water. Very easy to tear their bell or rip their tentacles, so we want to be as careful as we can with them. Here I'm just kind of creating a vortex to bring them up to the top. These guys are pretty strong swimmers, so if they want to, they can stay down if they so desire. Right now, I'm wearing some gloves. Otherwise, I would be getting stung. I have been stung by jellyfish. Their sting it hurts, but it's not that bad. Maybe not quite as bad as a bee sting. Kind of goes with the territory. All right, so it looks like we've got everybody, so we're ready to move upstairs. So as I'm moving these guys, I'm kind of keeping an eye on them. We want to not have any air bubbles get underneath the bells. That can potentially damage their bell. You kind of want to move slowly and just kind of watch where you're going. All right, first guy. Last one. These guys are looking pretty good. They're starting to kind of let their oral arms hang down a little more, a little relaxed. That's a good sign for these guys. It's pretty satisfying growing these guys up, and you finally get to the point where you get to display them. The real fun is getting to go through the gallery and hearing the oohs and the ahs of the people as they kind of see the jellies.